continue with the proceedings. Thank you. So
I'm particularly delighted that this event has taken place in my zone at a time when all the states in the Northwest Zone are making concerted efforts to economic diversification, peace, stability and development in the zone. Since my appointment as the representative of the zone on the board of NEITI, one of the targets that I have set for myself was how to connect the wonderful work of NEITI, transparency and accountability in natural resource governance to programs of governments in the states of Kano, Kaduna, Katsina, Jigawa, Kebbi, Sokoto and Zamfara. This is because I realize the benefits that most states in the zone endowed with one form of mineral resource or another could derive if exposed to the right kind of information and data in the sector. From the knowledge and exposure gained so far working with NEITI, I'm convinced that the government and people of the Northwest Zone have enormous lessons to learn if adequately enlightened and exposed to the principles of EITI in natural resource and public finance management, governance and institutional reforms. These are the cardinal goals that NEITI is pursuing in the extractive industries, which I believe should be extended to subnational levels. This is why I'm actually so delighted by the decision of the board and management of NEITI to organize this zonal outreach exercise in this zone. I therefore, on behalf of all the state governments and people of the zone, thank the chairman and members of the NEITI board, the executive secretary and his team at the secretariat for the opportunities which today's event will bring to our people in this part of the country.
Our job is very easy on paper. And our mandate is to ensure that there's transparency and accountability in the way we manage our natural endowments. Be it oil and gas or solid minerals. And so what do? We publish reports that look at what is paid by companies and what is received by government, and we put that in the public domain. It's very important work, but if people do not, whether at the government level or at the citizen level or civil society level, if they are not making use of that report, if they do not know what we stand for and how they can be part of that, our work will not be done. And that is why we have commenced this program of zonal outreach to go to the zones, to go and meet people, to explain to them what we do, and also see, to engage with them so that they can see how they can take this work forward. We publish information about what the revenues that come to the government. We also publish other studies about what is what governments at the various levels also use the resources for. But if the governments themselves, they are not saying what is in this report, what lessons can we learn from this, how can we use to improve the lot of our people, then it's not very useful. And if citizens and civic groups are also not using this report to hold the government to account, it's also not very useful. So yes, transparency is what we're about, and accountability is what we're about, but we cannot do it by ourselves. We need you to be part of this journey for us. And you need to understand what we do and how you need to connect with this work to make sure that the reason why we exist is fulfilled. Not because you need to support us, which is very important, but because supporting the mandate of the organization has implication for the generality of Nigeria. Even when we manage our resources in transparent and accountable manner, that by itself will not lead to development. That by itself will not lead to poverty reduction. That by itself will not lead to the reversal of resource costs. So we need to entrench transparency and accountability, which we need to take for granted.
The choice of Kano is to host this important event was informed by many factors. First is the rich mineral resource endowment of the state. Second is the historical fact of Kano being the commercial hub of the northern Nigeria. Third is the special interest that your able representative on the board of NEITI, the barrister Natu Musawa, who represents the zone, has in Kano. She has spelled everything out, and now know the connection, because any of the states in the zone can as well host this, but she said it must be Kano, and she has has explained it. We now know why she insisted on Kano. Another is that many prominent sons and daughters of this revered ancient city have served and continue to serve our country well in different capacities. We can go on and on. And finally, we are here to bring the message of EITI, that is Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative, the global body which NEITI is a part of, to the Northwest Zone. What we do, how we do our work, the principles, benefits, and your role as citizens. You may recall that in 2003, Nigeria signed up to the Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative, EITI, a global initiative now implemented in more than 50 countries. We commenced the implementation in 2004. We did that not because we wanted to be seen to be part of all latest global initiatives, but because of the dire need to enthrone a regime of transparency and accountability in Nigeria's extractive sector, and to ensure that revenues accruing from this strategic sector are prudently managed to aid and not to impede poverty reduction, social cohesion, and sustainable development.
Kano State has been endowed with solid mineral deposits, human and other natural resources. Kano is in the forefront of looking for ways of tapping this means of earning revenue to divert from relying on crude oil revenue. I have been informed that this event is aimed at exposing participants to the processes, principles, methods, objectives, and benefits of the Global Extractive Industry Transparency Initiative, that's NEITI, which Nigerian government is implementing through NEITI in the oil, gas, and mining sectors. I also understand that the program is expected to deepen citizens' knowledge of NEITI processes, especially at subnational levels, and broaden the scope of citizens' participation across the Northwest Zone. I'm equally aware that NEITI is mandated by law to ensure transparency and accountability in the management of revenues from the oil, gas, and mining sectors, with a view of reversing the syndrome of resource costs and ensure that all Nigerians benefit from their country's natural resources wealth. Ladies and gentlemen, having followed NEITI's activities with keen interest and admiration over the years, I wish to acknowledge the efforts of the agency in drawing national and international attention to corruption, process lapses, transparency, and accountability questions that have bedeviled the oil and gas sector, which is the mainstay of our economy. From our knowledge of its operation in this part of the country, NEITI is one of the few federal government agencies that have stood out with courage and competence in leading the war against opaqueness and corruption, especially in the oil, gas, and mining sectors. I applaud your work and urge other agencies to emulate your courage, dedication, and service to our nation. Accordingly, let me state that Kano State Government identifies strongly with the lofty mandate, objectives, and principles of NEITI. In this direction, Kano State Government, under my leadership, is willing and ready to provide all necessary support to deepen NEITI's implementation in Nigeria.